Love you too, love you too. Good evening, guys. So my story begins as ninth grade year, Dunbar. I was living in the projects at the time. I was going through anxiety, didn't know what depression really felt like or seen it or heard of it, didn't care about it, but I was going through depression as well. And like me not knowing what I'm gonna eat after I get out of school and things like that. And you know, like it was so hard where I didn't even know what my future would even look like or feel like. I didn't know anything. It was just weird being in high school in the ninth grade year. And then having my dad's African, and like going home, he's just like, where are you coming from? Why are you here? What are you doing? So it became very hard. I had a lot of stress, you know. So, but during my time in high school, I was trying to figure out if I wanted to go. I went because I had to finish. I had to do something. Like, I had to prove the guy wrong. I could finish high school. But during my time, I had like Thread. Thread came along and was like, hey, like you said, you're on this list. I'm like, what list? Like, I can't be on no list. Who are you guys? So I come, and it's a group of white people with pizza. Again, I didn't know where my next meal was coming from. So a group of white people, I'm just like, all right, they got food, I'm here. This is where I'm gonna be at. Time come, and I'm just like, all right, I've had enough pizza. Y'all can leave me alone now. Would not stop chasing me, would not stop hitting me up on any social media they could find me at. Would all, like, you know, when I'm with my friends, they'll just pull up, you know, she'll just pull up. And I leave my friends, they're like, yo, where you going? I'm going with Julia, you know, I'm going with my mentor. Okay, cool, whatever. So as time goes on, you know, I eventually like fell into the situation and tried to better myself. It still was hard. It got to a point where like I'll be walking with my volunteer, and the type of anxiety and the type of stuff I was going through, anger management and all that stuff, I didn't know it was real. I didn't care about it. But that's what I was going through. I would just, sad to say, I'll walk down the street and knock somebody clean out. It just was that bad. And it got to a point where Julia, she would not stop hitting me up. She would not stop chasing me, not stop contacting me, leave me alone, you know, exactly. So as time went on, it's just, I'm like, all right, I gotta get myself together.
You gave up.
Yeah, I tried, I was about to. I was so close to it, but I said I had to get myself together. You know, she wouldn't leave it alone. I couldn't stop, you know. So it got to one point, we was at a red light, stop sign, and I just like, I don't know what we was doing, but I just jet out the car. I got out the fucking car. I didn't care no more, you know. I was just fed up. I didn't care no more. She didn't know what to do. It is what it is. I'm already gone. But the next day, she contacted me like, hey, what's up? What's good? I'm like, hey, you know, I'm here. All right, we're gonna try this again. So we tried it again, and it got to a point where like, my friends would see me leave, and eventually I introduced her to my friends and everything. And I didn't have ways to a phone, Wi-Fi, all those things, a laptop. My mentor did. She had the resources. So as I would go over her house to do job applications, my resume, and a lot of different other things, my friends would ask, like, hey, you think she can help me with that? I'm like, well, you're not in the program, sir. You know? So it's like 4 or 5 of them. I don't roll too deep, but I do know a lot of people. But it got to a point where like, Julia was like, yeah, come on, let's go. And now we like 5 deep in our house doing job applications. Like, it got to a point where I would call like one of my friends, and I'm like downtown somewhere on a Saturday night, and they just like, oh, I'm on Julia's porch. We having a drink. I'm like, yo, no way. Like, you know what I mean? Or like one day Julia called me like, hey, I'm here with TJ. Where are you at? I'm like, why you with TJ, you know? So she became family, and it was the best thing that ever happened. And how can I put it? I most definitely like, I appreciate everything, honestly. One thing she would not stop doing is give up on me, you know, so I most definitely appreciate this one right here.
All right. Okay. So that's a hard act to follow, but E, as you can see, is always a hard act to follow. I remember first meeting him when he was in 9th grade, 2011, and yeah, like he was a lot, you know, and he was like this tornado, you know, and I like tried to keep up with him, and but yeah, like Dunbar halls, where he was like bouncing off the walls, sort of. But yeah, like I was like, okay, well, let's see how this goes. And like you said, he was kind of like, how's this gonna go? But I had a car, and I loved learning more about Baltimore. So he had a personal chauffeur. So that was part of it. He didn't mind that. And but yeah. Sometimes he was unpredictable, and we're very different. So sometimes I had to figure out like, okay, how does this roll? Because I'm coming up with like a whole lot of advice, and why don't you try this? Why don't you do that? And he's like, you're being too much. You're too much. And I learned I was the definition of irky. And so in Baltimore, if you're in like people's social media or their texts, ERKY means really annoying, and that
Yes.
was me. They didn't have that word where I was from. But yeah, like we stuck with it, and like I said, we had E would take care of business. Like he was focused. He was like so hardworking, and I remember calling him like some you know winter evening, and it's like raining and slush, and he's like at a bus stop waiting for the bus to go to McDonald's to go work, and like most people, weren't doing that, in high school. But yeah, like you said, like he and the guys would come over to the house, and they'd, would be coming up with resumes and this and that, and he was like part of our house and our family. I will say that one time I remember driving down Pratt Street by the aquarium, and it's like a really hot day, and I'm just there, like waiting for the traffic to let up, and I look over on the other side of the street, there's E and like three of his friends, and I'm like, yo, E, and like they come storming, out at my car, open up all the doors, jump in that car. I could see that the cars like on either side were kind of like, what is going on, and is this gonna happen to me, so we just, drove a few blocks till they got out of Perkins. But yeah, so yeah, and then so as time went on, like my own life started changing, and I'm like working towards my career and trying to figure out what I'm gonna do, and I did have medical issues and this and that, and he was still working hard. Sometimes he was literally working 3 jobs at once. I will say that once I went into the McDonald's where he was working, and he had 2 other jobs. And like the place was crazy slammed, and like all this stuff going on, and he was managing the place, and it was like a symphony. Like it was like flying in there. Like people are asking for help. I couldn't get in there because it's so busy, and like people are flying and asking for help, and he's doing this, he's doing that, and like little old men are coming up to him to catch up with them, and like it was really something else. But back to me. I got the job going on, and then I got pregnant. Like I didn't think this was going to happen because of a whole long situation there. But so my husband and I were so happy, amazing. We had this baby boy, and then we had Uncle E would come over, and he would like hold my kid up like Simba, way up in the air. And then I had another kid, and so, totally blessed. But I did find motherhood to be really hard. I did find it hard to balance it all. And I was one of these people who would like feel like I was dropping the balls. Like, if I'm not dropping this ball, then I'm dropping that ball and the rest of it. And so, but he would stick with me, and like he would call me out on my own bullshit or like my own like sort of self-criticism and stuff like that. And that
Going nuts.
what?
You were going nuts.
I was going nuts.
Yeah.
So that was a lot. But like I would feel comfortable, and he would like, kind of talk me down off the wall. And that, that means a lot. And even now, like I might be having like a stress at my job or like whatever's going on, and I might just drop him a text or a call or something, and he'll kind of put it in perspective or make me laugh or something. And that means a ton. And I'll leave you with one recent story. Recently, we went out to lunch, and I was telling him that me trying to, take care of myself and stress reduction, that I started picking up the basketball, and I'd go over to Patterson Park, and I'd shoot some hoops, just try to focus.
Basketball.
Basketball, yeah. I'm not from here, okay,
It's okay.
Emmanuel?
It's okay.
All right?
It's okay.
but I was telling him like that my shots were like shit. It was terrible. You know what I mean? Like I was practically embarrassed to be doing it. Hadn't touched a basketball in a year or two, and I just wasn't any good. And he's like, well, we can take care of that. So I was like, oh, good. I'm going to get like I'm going to get some lessons. So I had a ball in the trunk of my car. He had one in his. We go over to a nearby court. And he's like, okay, I'm gonna be over here. I'm gonna catch your rebounds. You just stand there and shoot free throws. And I was like, okay, cool. But he's getting these balls and he's gunning them back to me as fast as he can. And I can't keep up with them. I'm laughing and he's shouting like, you're going too slow, you're going too slow, you're going too slow. Yeah. Just shoot, don't overthink it, you know? And that was just funny because it made me laugh, but it also, like, that's E. Like, just keep it, you know?
Yeah, by the time I got the ball, when it went under the hoop, like, she's still holding on to the other one. Like, you know? But, like, that basically shows, like, how our relationship is. We just continue to strive for the best. Even when we fail, we keep going. You know, like, she missed a lot. But
you should
like,
see me now. You should see me now.
Yeah, but like as I was like throwing a basketball back to her and like remind her of keep going, she made more than what she was missing in the beginning. Yeah. So like the time she reminded me to get my shit together, I progressed more as life went in. Yeah.
So having Coach E in my corner is a very good thing for me.
Yeah, we going.
All right.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.